Hello, this is Jonathan Moore with the Hometown Historian. This is the first of the Yuletide Tales. One of the viewers had mentioned that I should do something on Belsnickle. He's one of the companions of St. Nicholas or Santa Claus. Uh, we're familiar with Santa Claus being a benevolent and jovial individual, and some of the characters across, especially Europe and across the world, some of them aren't very benevolent. They're sort of terrifying, actually. And Belsnickle is probably less terrifying than Krampus, but still sort of a pretty scary and nasty dude. He's a crotchety, fur-clad Christmas gift-bringer figure in folklore of the Palatinate region of Germany along the Rhine. He is preserved in Pennsylvania Dutch and British or Brazilian German communities. So this is a character of German folklore and sort of came over with the German immigrants. He is related to other companions of St. Nicholas in the folklore of German-speaking Europe. Probably he's most closely associated with Krampus, if anything. He may have been based off of an older German myth of a character called Knecht Ruprecht, servant of St. Nicholas, and he's also a character from northern Germany. So it is sort of cool to see how they have these folklore sort of transcend time. They start out as something else like this, eventually go into Belsnickle, and eventually come into the Americanized versions. He is the character that he visits alone and has both threatening and benign aspects. He commonly is a man wearing furs, sometimes a mask with a long tongue, as you see the picture there. He's typically very ragged and disheveled. He wears tattered, dirty clothes, and he carries a switch in his hand to beat the naughty children. But he also has pockets full of cakes, candies, and nuts for the good children. Some of the Americanized version in Allegheny, Maryland, he was known as Chris Kinkle, Belsnickle, or the Christmas Woman. This one's a little odd. Children not only saw but felt this mysterious person, and then they also felt the stripes upon their backs. He appeared after dark, sometimes with a fizz, which I guess is like a female garb, which is why he's known as the Christmas Woman. He had an ample sack that would be filled with cakes, nuts, and fruits for the good children, and he had a long hazel switch. He would spread the candies on the floor when he arrived, and then in sort of the mad scramble of the children going for the candy, he would then use a switch on their backs. And it's typically, unlike parental punishment, they wouldn't actually wince. It is odd. Generally, he visited 1 to 2 weeks prior, and he would question the children or have them sing a song. And the reward was candy, which was thrown on the floor. And then basically, if they moved too quickly, he would consider them as bad and he would beat them. Nice guy. Some people call him Pelschnickel, but they sort of think that Pelschnickel and Belsnickle are two separate people, because Pelschnickel is sort of the more nasty version of him, and he would always put a birch rod in their stockings as their reward for being bad. Now in Indiana, also in Canada, in Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and also the prairie areas, and also in Brazil in an area called Sal Catarina, he is dressed in a black or brown robe and fur cap or bearskin hat and decorated with bells. And one of the traditions is on Belsnickle night, groups of young men will dress up like him, run through the streets, rattling chains and bells, just to add to the terror of Christmas. Really interesting guy, somewhat benign, but mostly sort of nasty. So this is the first of the Yuletide Tales. We'll have some more of these coming up. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you about town.